Hello music fans, welcome to the last video in my series on the top 10 albums of 2022 in various genres. This video is focused on progressive rock. I made another video that's focused on prog metal, and so there won't be super metal stuff in this list. Some of it is almost prog metal, but I tried to keep the stuff that I really consider prog metal on the other list. And then I have videos for all sorts of other genres like post-hardcore, metalcore / deathcore / mathcore. Check out the channel if you want to see my picks for any of those types of genres, as well as death metal, black metal, ambient, post-metal, post-rock, those types of genres as well. So let's kick it off with number 10, which is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard with Laminated Denim. Well, on this progressive rock list, I'm also including psychedelic rock. This one's more on the psychedelic rock side. It's got some progressive influences. It's their 22nd album, and this album's an anagram of another album from earlier this year called Made in Timeland. So Laminated Denim, if you rearrange the letters, can make Made in Timeland. And that Made in Timeland album was more of their electronic and experimental album that had two 15-minute tracks. This one also only has two 15-minute tracks that play along to a ticking clock metronome sound. But this one's not really electronic. It's more their typical psychedelic progressive rock sound. And number 9 is Polyphia with Remember That You Will Die. This is progressive rock with some math rock, electronic, hip-hop, pop, metal, and jazz influences thrown in. It's their 4th album. Just such amazing, clean, and fast guitar playing. They're mostly instrumental progressive rock band, but this album features lots of guest vocalists, and they have a lot of influences from modern music. The song Playing God has just a lot of insane guitar playing. All the guest vocalists on here are so different. Sophia Black is kind of a female pop star sound, and in her song with Polyphia, she's singing over progressive metal style shred guitar with hip-hop beats and jazzy vibes all in one song. A lot of the songs with hip-hop vibes remind me of the album Homie by Chan, so if you like that, you'll probably like this. The song Bloodbath features Chino Marino from Deftones on vocals and has some of the heaviest metal guitars on the album, but Chino's vocals and melodies are so beautiful. The last song on the album, Ego Death, features guitar virtuoso Steve Vai and has really cool playing as well. This one is almost prog metal, but I didn't really count it. Most of the tracks are not really metal at all, so I put it in the progressive rock list instead of metal. Number 8 is Ryo Okumoto with The Myth of the Mostrophus. This is progressive rock. It's his 5th solo album, if you don't count a soundtrack that he did, otherwise it's his 6th. He's the keyboardist from Spock's Beard, and if you're a fan of that, plus bands like Transatlantic, Pattern Seeking Animals, the Neil Morse Band, you'll like this. There's just a lot of awesome epic prog compositions, great guest musicians such as Steve Hackett, Mike Keneally, Nick DiVirgilio, and more. Wonderful playing from all of them. Number 7 is Ben Craven with Monsters from the Id. This is his 5th album. He's from Australia. It's an amazing progressive rock album for fans of Porcupine Tree, Yes, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer, kind of like mixing those styles together. Very symphonic progressive rock, just 2 tracks that are both over 19-minute side-long epics on each side of the vinyl, but there's also some single edit versions that condense the tracks into 4 shorter singles, and everything on here is great. Number 6 is Jonas, Lindberg and the Other Side with Miles from Nowhere. This is solid and catchy progressive rock. My favorite track is Oceans of Time, but it was hard to pick a favorite. I like how they have many different vocalists, both male and female, and I hear lots of use of the Lydian mode, making it sound very bright but also adventurous, dreamy, and floating and mysterious. Number 5 is King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, again with Omnium Gatherum. They released 5 albums this year. Only 2 of them are going to appear on this list today. This is psychedelic rock, but it's got some progressive influences, folk, metal, hip-hop, electronic, and pop. This album's quite a mixed bag of many of the styles they've done before, plus the new style of hip-hop. There's a couple metal tracks on here, but it's not really a metal album. Some have psychedelic vibes, some have prog, pop, everything's on here really. It's quite an interesting journey, so I recommend you check it out. Number 4 is The Deer Hunter with Antimai. This is progressive rock with indie rock, pop, jazz, and symphonic influences. It's their 8th album, and everything they put out is top notch. This is a concept album. It acts as an atlas of a fictional world, exploring the social hierarchy from the outside in. It explores 8 separate casts. It reminds me of the Divergent or Hunger Games series. Number 3 is Porcupine Tree with Closure Continuation. This is progressive rock. It's their 11th album, but it's been 13 years since the last one. I love the bass lines on this album, played by Steven Wilson, who also plays the guitar and sings lead vocals. The drums by Gavin Harrison are great. The keyboards by Richard Barbieri is great. There's soft acoustic moments, but also some heavy metal riffs. Not really enough for me to put it on the prog metal list. It's still more in the prog rock side for me. Lots of cool odd time signature parts. My favorite track is Rat's Return. Number 2 is Bubblemath with Turf Ascension. This is their 3rd album. Their sound is pretty unique and eclectic. If I had to compare it to anything, I would say it's like Mr. Bungle meets Gentle Giant and King Crimson. There's only 4 songs on the album, but it's 50 minutes long. So each song is about 10 minutes, but the opening song, Surface Tension, is 18 minutes. This one, unfortunately, is not on Spotify. I had to venture over to Bandcamp to hear it, but I recommend everyone check it out because it's really awesome. And my number 1 progressive rock album of the year is Toehider with I Have Little to No Memory of These Memories. This is also just my number 1 album of the year in general. This has a bit of metal and pop influences, but not really enough to put it on the prog metal list. It's the 5th full-length album from Toehider, which is mainly a one-person project by Michael Mills. It's one 47-minute epic prog rock track, and it dabbles in so many different styles. There's some pop sections, folk, metal, even a video game music section. And I think this is the best thing that Toehider ever released, and that's saying a lot because Toehider, everything they put out is great. The vocals here by Michael Mills are fantastic. He can hit real high notes. He does some cool vocal harmonies reminiscent of Queen. In fact, this whole song kind of has a rock opera vibe, and I like that it's kind of silly and doesn't take itself too seriously. Michael Mills also plays guitars on the track. I think he might even play drums too, and he's just really talented at everything. He can play a mean guitar. So check this out, my favorite album of the year. And I'm going to be making lists coming up for my favorite guitarists, favorite vocalists, favorite bass players, keyboard players, and drummers of the year. I'll make a separate video for each of those instruments. That's kind of my next idea for a series. But let me know in the comments if you have an idea of topics that you want me to cover next. I'll probably resume doing my weekly What's New videos where I talk about new releases that came out this week and give my first impressions on them. Until next time, peace out.